Hey guys, it's SRC Reptiles, and I just want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas. Today is the 24th of December, and excitingly enough, one baby Crestie gecko so far has hatched, and I decided to name him or her Tinsel, which it's funny because I would have thought everyone knew what tinsel was, but I was asking my boyfriend to look it up to make sure I spelled it right, and he didn't even know what tinsel was, so for anyone who doesn't know what tinsel is, I will put a picture on the screen because I thought that was genuinely funny. There is a few sad things that have happened as well. So last night, for the last like 3 or 4 days, I've been taking Twix, Snickers, and Indigo, and I've been putting them into a container, actually the same one that this tripod is currently sitting on, so that they could get used to each other, because obviously I want Twix to be paired with both of those females. Also, most of the time, when breeding groups are happening, you're supposed to have 2 to 3, just so that the male is not... Obviously, if you only have one male and one female, you want a pair, but in this case where I have 2 females I want him to be with, I went ahead and tried to put all 3 of them in the same temporary container. It had just paper towels as substrate. It had been cleaned beforehand, and it had like 4 decorations in there so that there were things they could hide under or hide on top of or whatever. But it was in a mutual area where neither of the 3 were going to be territorial towards each other. Well, Indigo is very laid back. She don't give a crap about if Twix crawls on her or nothing. She's not offended. Snickers, on the other hand, is very strong-willed, very hard-headed, and she don't put up with shit. And I should have probably thought about staying in the room to monitor them, but a lot of times when people pair geckos together, you stick them in the same tank for like 2 or 3 days, sometimes longer if needed, and you know, they get the job done. This wasn't to where they were in together all the time. It would be during the day, and then they'd go back into their tanks so they could get used to each other. Well, I wasn't in here when this happened, but I'm assuming that it was Snickers because Indigo was hiding in one of the hides that I put in there, so I highly doubt it was her because she's never been aggressive. But yeah, Twix doesn't have a tail anymore, and I didn't see any bite wounds on the tail when I was looking at it, but my only assumption is, because I've watched him and Snickers together one time, and I was there to put my finger by Snickers' mouth because she was biting my finger because she wanted to bite him instead. Yeah, I'm thinking she turned around and, like, chomped onto his tail and wouldn't let go, and he probably freaked out and dropped it. If you have a male that's pretty sure of himself and isn't timid, or it's not his first time breeding, then this probably would not happen. Because I have Magma and Mischief who've both been bred, both mated, I should say, with females, and that's never been an issue. So... yeah, Twix doesn't have a tail anymore, and that's quite sad, so I'm keeping an eye on it to make sure that it obviously doesn't get infected or anything. Just kind of keep an eye and make sure that the wound stays clean. You shouldn't have to put anything on it. Normally it takes like a week at the most for it to seal up completely and to get a scab formed over that wound. I'm not going to get him out to show you, but if I do happen to get a picture of him later on, or, you know, next week, I'll show him to you guys. But either way, so I'm quite sad because obviously this is Twix's first time being bred, but he is 2 years old, so he is definitely old enough, and he is, I believe, 42 grams. What was it? I can't remember what he weighed when we did the weighing video, but obviously you want to wait till they're between 40 and 45 grams. I'm probably going to have to wait till he's way bigger before I try to put him with Snickers again. I thought maybe, since he obviously was a lot more agile and a lot more slimmer than Snickers, that he would be a lot quicker than her, because she is fat, and she's on a diet, and she does not move very quick. So I didn't think it was going to be an issue. He's a little bit more compatible with Indigo's size, because I think she was like in the mid-60s to low 60s, or still in the 50s, somewhere in there. I can't remember the precise weights. I'll put them on the screen of what everybody weighed, but I don't have my book in here with me, so I don't remember. But either way, I was quite sad when I walked in and saw his tail, and I was like, oh no. At least it was a clean break. I checked his area, and I also checked the tail, and everything looked fine. I'm used to this, or not used to this, but I kind of am accustomed to how to treat them now, because where Snickers obviously dropped her tail when she was like a year and a half, Harmony randomly, when I still had her, dropped her tail when she was in her tank in the middle of the night. No loud noises or anything, so I don't know why she dropped hers. With her, though, at least she had floppy tail syndrome from the previous person that owned her, and it wasn't looking very good, so she probably would have had to have had her tail removed by a vet to begin with. So at least with her, it wasn't too big of a deal because it was something that already was going to have to be done anyway. But I just wanted to tell you guys what was going on, because that really sucks. And Twix is in this tank right here. I think he's probably sleeping. Yeah, I don't see him anywhere. Oh, it looks like he's down here in his hide. If you want, I will look and see real quick. Looks like the newest baby is sitting up here. I don't know if I will get it out, but we'll see, because we'll see if it's jumpy or not. Obviously it's going to be jumpy, it's new, but when I discovered it this morning, it hadn't even had its first shed. Oh, it's okay. Come here. Okay. So here is the little baby. Obviously it's extremely hard to see any kind of pattern. Luckily there's carpet in here. When they're this tiny, there's not really much weight to them, so they literally will just bounce off the floor. But here is the little baby. Obviously better pictures and stuff to come. But has a good amount of pin striping. Like I said, the lighting in here is really poopy. I don't have the main light on overhead because it was really glaring in the camera. So I only have my lamp on. But I will include pictures from when it hatched. But I'm not going to tinker with it too much. Just to kind of show you briefly about what size it is. This evening, obviously, it will be getting fed. I didn't feed it last night because it came out at like 2 something in the morning. But I didn't really want to feed it at that time because it had just come out of the egg. It hadn't even started its first shed yet. Like, it was just barely starting to be noticeable around where the snout is. And I was like, no, I'm going to let it settle in before I go feeding it. But I will check real quick and see if the other egg has hatched yet. Maybe we'll get lucky and it's in the process of hatching and you guys will get to see that. I don't know. Probably not, knowing my luck. But I'll still check real quick anyway. Yeah, it has not hatched, so that's okay. No big deal. I'm really hoping it does not hatch till Christmas Day, because then I can have a Christmas Day baby and not just Christmas Eve. But anyway, guys, I don't think there's really anything else I need to update you on aside from poor Twix and his tail. I don't think there's anything new or exciting that has happened aside from that. Obviously, again, Merry Christmas to everybody, and hopefully everyone stays healthy and doesn't get sick or anything like that, because that's not fun around Christmas. Most of the time, it seemed like for years I would always get a cold or the flu any time before Christmas, or like the beginning of December, and then it would just be going away by the time it was around Christmas, and it was crummy. I hated it. So luckily, I have not really been sick any. I think 1, maybe 2 times this year I've had a cold, and that was it. So I've been pretty lucky. My boyfriend, I think, has been sick once or twice as well. He just recently, like last month, got over his cold. So yeah, at least neither of us are sick, and as far as I can tell, no one else in my family is sick right now either, so that's always a good thing. Hopefully the same can be said for you guys, and if you are sick, I really hope you get over it soon. That just really sucks when you are sick, especially around the holidays when you're wanting to get together with family or friends or whatever it is you do around Christmas. So anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I know that there was a good thing to it, and then there was a not so good thing to it, even though Twix obviously is just as fine as he was without his tail. It's not like it drops in value or anything, but it still sucks because he's not going to have that extra limb there to help him balance. But at least moving on in the future, if I can get him to at least be paired with Indigo, because I don't know about Snickers, we'll have to see. I'm thinking that he's going to need to be a little bit bigger for him to go with Snickers, and he is just such a slow grower. I don't know how long it's going to take him for me to get him up to like 56 grams or something. Because that's what Mischief normally stays at, is in the 50-gram range. So, but anyway, enough of me rambling. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a good rest of your Christmas.